Which fighter is the best for Ukraine in its fight against Russia? When Russia invaded Ukraine a year ago, the Kremlin had hundreds of MiG and Sukhoi planes in reserve in its air force. By some estimates, the Ukrainian fighter fleet was much meager, numbering 69 aircraft at most. According to experts, its size was one-tenth that of Russia. Ukraine and its supporters claim that Western fighters are now needed to tip the scales in Ukraine's favor while enabling close air support and air interdiction missions. In a December address to Congress, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky stated, "Ukraine has never asked American troops to fight on our soil in our place. I promise you that Ukrainian forces are fully capable of handling U.S. tanks and aircraft on their own." A group of senators and representatives from both parties wrote to Vice President Joe Biden in February, urging the Obama administration to swiftly decide whether to send F-16s or other fighters to Ukraine. Hence, the country has time to train its fighters. Unlike current ground-based air defense platforms used by Ukrainian forces, the ability of fighter jets to quickly traverse a wide combat space with a significant weapons load could prove decisive for airspace control. Ukrainian this year, the lawmakers noted. Jared Golden, Democrat from Maine; Tony Gonzalez, Republican of Texas; Jason Crow, Democrat from Colorado; Mike Gallagher, Republican of Wisconsin; and Chrissy Houlihan, Democrat of Pennsylvania. Over the past year, the military aid sent by the United States and its allies has steadily increased in firepower. Weapons include loitering munitions, high-mobility artillery rocket systems, artillery, and more. After several weeks of uncertainty, the United States accepted the sale of M1 Abrams main combat tanks to Ukraine in January, coinciding with Germany's decision to supply Leopard 2 main battle tanks. Some Western government leaders have kept the door open when it comes to the supply of fighter jets, with UK Defence Secretary Ben Wallace telling reporters in February, "Nothing is to be ruled out." The problem is that not everyone agrees. Air defense technology designed to deny Russia the sky, such as the Patriot system, is more valuable, according to Pentagon strategy head Colin Kahl, who recently told legislators that weaponry to dominate Ukrainian airspace, like Western fighter jets, are worth less. F-16s or other fighters are a priority for the Ukrainians, but not one of their top 3 priorities, Kahl told the House Armed Services Committee on February 28. Their top priorities are air defense systems, and keeping their interceptors and air defense network alive against Russian cruise missiles and the like, and Iranian drones, artillery and fire, and armored systems and mechanized. Kahl said that providing even 3 dozen aging F-16s would cost about $3 billion, and a larger fleet could cost as much as $11 billion. Washington's top-ranking Democrat, Adam Smith, voiced doubts about the supply of F-16s and their impact on the war during the same session. "Even if we basically said there is nothing more important than that weapon system and put all our time and all our resources into it, at best, we could get some operational F-16s to Ukraine within a year, maybe 8 months if we really pushed ourselves," Smith said. And this is being lucky. Because not only do you have to train the pilots, but also the mechanics, have aerodromes that can accommodate the F-16s and have the spare parts to make them work. An existential struggle. The Ukrainian Air Force operates MiG-29 Fulcrum and Sukhoi Su-27 flanker combat jets. The Ukrainian Air Force reportedly has 43 MiG-29s and 26 Su-27s, according to the 2022 edition of Flight International's Air Force Almanac. Once cleared, she added that Ukraine could carry out close air support missions and interception strikes against tank columns, artillery emplacements, massed infantry, and Russian ships once cleared. This would take the pressure off Ukraine's ground forces and free them up for their operations. Ukrainian drone use has been innovative, but they are not going to shift the course of the fight, as Penny put it. Ukraine, for instance, bombed Russian vehicles and other military targets with a small number of inexpensive Turkish Bayraktar TB2 drones in the early months of the conflict. Ukraine has also used U.S.-supplied loitering munitions, such as the Switchblade 300 and 600 made by AeroVironment and the Air Force-developed Phoenix Ghost. But the United States has so far resisted sending more advanced drones, such as the Gray Eagle and MQ-9 Reaper, to Ukraine. Bronk said the country is not short of pilots, but the problem is that they don't have enough airworthy planes. Ukraine is having a particularly hard time with the availability of its flankers, he added. The fact that the Ukrainian fighter fleet is Russian-made seriously limits its access to spare parts, worsening the availability of the planes. This is one of the main reasons why Ukraine should move away from MiGs and Suhois and towards Western fighters, U.S. Air Force Chief of Staff General C.Q. Brown stated at the Security Forum of Aspen held in July 2022. When asked about potential additions to Ukraine's future fleet, Brown mentioned the Swedish Gripen, the French Rafale, and the European Eurofighter in addition to American-made fighters. Brown claims that since Russia's invasion began, Ukraine has aggressively worked to strengthen its fighter fleet by fixing up obsolete jets and bringing non-flyable ones back into service. They probably wouldn't meet peacetime airworthiness standards, let alone combat readiness, Bronk said. But they're in an existential struggle, so of course, they're using what they can. Thanks for watching.